Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and joining me today is my good friend Stephen Fox. How's it going, brother?
All is good. Salute to you. Salute to the chat. Salute to the Into the Knicks-Verse family, and salute to the SV Nation. Hope all is well, and go Knicks, go.
Yes, I hope everyone had an excellent holiday, and I hope that we get some more good cheer today, because that Christmas Day game was a nice win. It was nice for us to have it. How did you feel about it? Well, you did a whole show just the other day with Quis.
Sunday night.
Actually, Quis will be joining us in a little bit. I don't know
Quis. Where's my brother? Yeah, we had a great show Sunday. If you haven't checked it out, do me a favor, please do. We talked about lots of good things, about lineups and just all the good things. Guaranteed good time every time you watch it.
Absolutely, man. It was a great stream, actually. It always is. But sometimes it shines a little more than others just because of topics. Yeah,
for sure.
And speak of the devil himself, there he is. Senor.
Keys. Yep, yeah. All right, my guy. Life is good.
How's everything?
Life is good again, man. Now that I see you.
Salute to you guys. Salute to the chat.
Yeah.
Salute to the chat. That's right. All right. We got slightly late start here. I got boosted today.
Me too, and my wife too. So
yeah. Salute. Now we got to get Quis boosted next. We need the full panel boosted.
Yeah, my girl's gonna drag me next month.
Yeah. She, I got.
You gotta wait 6 months
from the first dose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I just know she's dragging me next month. Whatever she says goes.
Oh man! Look, today, obviously, we're gonna preview the game against the Timberwolves, and we're going to talk about a couple of different things. One of them is going to be the Kemba Resurgence, since he's been reinserted into the starting lineup. I'd love to hear your feelings about it and stuff, so we'll jump onto that in a little bit. But before that, if there's any thoughts that have popped up since the Atlanta game, some impressions about it, that you've had some time to reflect on it. Any thoughts, Quis?
Well, you want to jump into it now? We can jump into it now.
Yeah, about the Atlanta game in general.
Oh, about the game?
Yeah, just the game in general.
It was nice to see us get the job done. You had a Hawks team coming there. They were depleted, didn't have their full rotation available to them, and you wanted us to come out with a win, and that's exactly what we did. It was a win too, where you didn't really have too many questions. Everybody looked good for the most part. I know Kemba had the triple-double. He didn't really shoot well, but he was a solid facilitator. He was able to get into the paint. And the ball movement, I think, what did we have? 28 assists in that game in total. So that was something that really bodes well, especially moving forward. I think if this team continues to see, some production when they move the ball and quality plays coming from it, I expect them to continue to play that way. So hopefully we see them continue to move the rock and play as a team. Once we're all moving in the same direction, I think this team's going to be hard to beat.
Good. All right. Yeah, I kind of have a similar feeling about it. Definitely the assists were the thing that I loved seeing the most. 28. We had 20 by the third quarter.
Yep.
So that shows we closed well. Got an additional 8 in the fourth quarter.
And we didn't have a horrific third quarter. That's what had me a little bit nervous. I was telling Foxy before, we were up, 4 or 5 points towards the end of that second quarter. And I was getting nervous because the Hawks weren't shooting well, but they were still in it. And knowing how we come out to start the second half, I was a little nervous. But luckily, Evan Fournier had one of his little magic bursts that he goes off and rolls off a bunch of points. So he had 10 points to close that quarter, close the half. And it really gave us a nice little cushion. So that was nice. That calmed me down. I wasn't as anxious heading into the second half. So that was definitely something that stuck out to me.
Definitely. Me too. How about you, Foxy? I know we started talking and we paused you for Quis showed up.
My grand entrance.
That's the way to go. Quis is awesome, man, because he nailed it, both of you. That the thing that I wrote and circled was the 28 assists. That the team movement the spacing, and I think a lot of it has to do what you were touching on earlier with Kemba, that there's a big difference between the Kemba that we're seeing over this stretch of the last 4 games and the Kemba that we saw in the first 20 games. And I think the biggest one is that he's breaking down the defense more. I think the first 20 games he was hanging out by that 3-point line a lot, and I don't know if he was deferring to Julius and giving it up, but now he's bringing it down. And when you break it down like that, and Tibbs always talks, that's when the spacing happens and the opportunities happen. So him moving the ball and the other guys playing along with that, moving it around the horn. And we talked about it a week or so ago, but wow, did you see that Golden State team, the way they moved that ball around the horn? And, if I don't really call, as I said, Curry a point guard facilitator. That team really, if you think about it, they don't have a traditional point guard, but yet look at the ball movement on that team. So I'm looking for us. That's my metric from this point on, not necessarily 28, but a hell of a lot more than 21 assists a game or less. So if we can keep that ball movement going, getting everybody involved, which brings up the whole team energy, I think we're in a good this week. I think we're in a good shape to come out with maybe 3-1, 4-0, hopefully. And if we are 4-0, then that's a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, this is a big week for us, man. We need to feast on this competition, especially in lieu of the poor results that we've had recently until actually basically the Atlanta game.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah.
Just meaning like with what? The team, that there's no excuse for us to lose this game tonight, folks. If you look at the people that are missing, they're missing. I doubt that, they may have cleared, but I don't know if they're going to be playing. They're the key guys on their team. So if we can't beat this team tonight, it's a big loss for us.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt about the Wizards game coming up, though. Remember when we were previewing that one?
I know,
man, that was, I just to be clear, I think now even more so than I still think the first Magic loss at home was still probably the worst one, because it was against the Magic and we had just wiped the floor with them the game before in Orlando. So, but this is like almost just as bad, that Wizards game. So at this point, I'm not taking any team for granted at all. And I don't even know what team I'm expecting to show up wearing New York on the chest on any given night. And it's to focus on the third quarter, because Quis, you brought up the third quarter, and it's been our Achilles heel. Even way back last season. You guys remember? Even last season we had third quarter problems. And we know why. Because we were starting Elfrid Payton as our point guard back then. And this season we don't have that issue. We should be technically better, but this team only goes as far as Julius Randle actually takes us. Even though we're going to be talking about Kemba later, Julius is really the key. And you mentioned the third quarter. Julius, he shot 60% of his field goals in the third quarter. Gave us 8 points, a couple of rebounds, assists. He hit 2 out of 3 of his 3-pointers. And then what happens? We end up delivering a nice third quarter as a team. Even though we at least we just held the lead. We only scored 20. Yeah. But we held the other team to 15.
15. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a key. So if you look at to even draw the further conclusions to this Julius Randle third quarter thing, Julius Randle this season is shooting 38.7% from the field in the third quarter. In the first quarter, it's 41.7, second quarter, 45.5, and in the fourth quarter, it's his best quarter, 48% he's shooting. But the third quarter, the dude is shooting almost 10% less.
Yeah.
And in terms of 3-point shots, he's only hitting 26% of his 3-pointers in the third quarter. So if he comes out and has a good third quarter, we're most likely going to win. That's always seems to be the barometer at this time.
Yeah, there is a
We had that one game though where Julius went off in the third and nobody else could score. I forgot what game that was. You guys remember?
Yeah, I think only Mitch had one basket. He
Yeah.
scored everything.
Right, he scored the first 10 of the 11 points. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, there is an encouraging stat, though. Shout out to Tom Piccolo, that in December they played 12 games and Julius is hitting 40.4% on 4 catch and shoot threes versus the previous month. In those 21 games prior, he was shooting just 30% on 3 catch and shoots. So it's encouraging now that he's up to 40% again, which is really great. And also, the Knicks are 10-1 in the 11 games where he's posted a positive plus minus. So if you see him, you know, on the plus minus, usually a positive on it, usually we win. So and we're just 2-7 in the games where he attempts less than 18 field goals, and we're 3-8 when he dishes out fewer than 4 assists.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I have another great Kemba stats.
And that was shout out to Tommy
Kemba
Beer,
stats,
by the way.
Not Kemba stats. Sorry. Hold on. You guys talk for a second. I'll be right back. You guys talk for a second.
Feel free. We'll shout out a few people in the chat. Let's see who we got.
Yo, we got Stanley Mann. Always ask. Yeah. Sorry for the delay. There's a delay. Do you feel a little delay tonight?
Just a little bit. Smidge.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy though. Give a shout out to Lex the Destroyer. Salute. One of the best mods in the game.
You ain't kidding. I love my Lex.
Salute to Iris Barrios as well. How come this man only got 3K subs? That's a fact. Get more subs, smash that subscribe button, and also make sure you have the bell icon set to all. That way you're notified whenever he drops his recaps and other videos.
Actually, he has 3.7, so let's get our guy George to 4K. So if we're asking a favor, a late in Christmas present, let's get our guy to 4K, please.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the shout out.
Mm-hmm. Back to the regular schedule programming.
I've been, as you guys know, especially as any regulars of the Knicks-Verse know, that I do like some deep dives statistically. It's been a little early in the season to get deep into that, but we're starting to get a good amount of data now. These are some interesting stats. I'm going to just throw them out to you guys in general for Julius Randle's performance and how he impacts this team. I'm going to give you guys one that's pretty fascinating. I thought it was fascinating. When Julius gets 10 total rebounds or more and shoots 33.3% from the 3-point line or better, the Knicks are 6-0.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. When he gets 10 or more defensive rebounds, that's it. The Knicks are 7-2. 9 and more, they're 7-6. That's the threat. So that extra defensive rebound makes a huge difference.
Wow.
Yeah. Now this is a stat that I really one thing here. This is really interesting here. In all of the wins that the Knicks have had, Julius is shooting 41.4% from the field. In all of the losses, he's shooting 43.6. So he's shooting better in the losses.
Did you check his 3 points?
No, that's just a field. That's just a field goal. Yeah, the 3-point though. The 3-point percentage is the opposite. In the wins, he's shooting 37.8%. In the losses, he's shooting 29.8%. Now I bring that up because when I was watching your live stream on Sunday, I caught you guys talking about Julius and the 3-point shot and how it affects everything. I mean, the way that the offense is structured and the way that Julius's game, the reason he became what he became last season is because he started hitting that 3-point shot. That was really it.
That and also he was eating on the mid-range more than he is this year.
Yes, but they're connected.
Oh, no doubt.
Because when he's not
changes the defense, they can't be honest then.
Right. They can sag off him a little bit. So there's less space for him to create that mid-range shot. Yeah. And it's harder to blow past the player that is a good, like an extra 2 feet further back than you want him to be. You know, it's an extra step and a half, or almost 2, maybe 3 steps even to get past the guy.
It cuts
And
off
then
penetration.
Yeah. And then what happens with his handle? The more he has to dribble. Yeah. The field goal percentage thing was like, I was like, what? That's crazy. That is crazy. But I mean, clearly, when Julius passes the ball, when he's a facilitator, the Knicks win. When in all wins, Julius is averaging 5.7 assists. In all losses, he's averaging 4.6. So that's 1.1 assists less. That's a pretty substantial amount for someone who has the ball in his hands as much as he does. Now again, here's the other crazy stat. The splits between the wins and losses. This was a simple. I didn't have to do much mining for this because you can just find it on Basketball Reference. He's averaging 19.2 points per game in all wins. In all losses, he's averaging 20.1. So when you start looking at this, I mean, I've been looking at this a little longer, so I'll share my feelings on it. You guys can think about it for a second while we get into it. When he scores less but distributes more and is more active on the boards, and he shoots the 3 at a decent, just 1 of 3 or more. That's all he's got to do. Knicks are like a very, very tough team to beat. Incredibly tough. Doesn't matter who else is on the court with them. Doesn't matter. This is what the stats are bearing out. The team itself, and so when he scores 20.1 points per game, the offense only averages 102.2 points per game. But when he scores 19.2 points a game, the offense averages 110.7 points per game. Now, that's not total apples to apples, but it just shows that
what a difference 1 point can make.
Yeah. So I think
it was more so than the stats than it is the mindset of a Julius Randle. When he plays to set teams up or set his teammates up, everybody eats, and we're much more dynamic as an offense. I mean, I said that coming into the season. I was like, there's going to be some sort of a regression from Julius Randle with his scoring output, but I think what we need to see him do is increase his assists a little bit. I didn't really say we needed an upgrade on rebounds because Julius Randle, for the most part, will give you 20 and 10. But I think when Julius Randle is moving the rock and getting his teammates involved, even when it's not the direct assist, when he's getting the hockey assist, the pass that leads to the assist, I think that's when this team really clicks, and that's when we get a lot of good open shots. And right now, this team has a good amount of shooters that when given opportunities, they can hit their shots. It's just we've been inconsistent. So there's some fault for Julius Randle when he decides to dribble and go ISO too heavy. But there's also some blame that has to be passed around for our shooters that have been inconsistent.
I think George nailed it in a post game a few games ago where he talked about just being efficient. That Randle scored, I think, 20 points on 19 shots. And Burke scored almost 20 points on 9 shots. So, that's really one of the key things is him being much more efficient.
Yeah. You know what? It's interesting you picked that 19 field goal attempts. Get ready for this one. When he takes 19 field goal attempts or more, and he shoots less than 33% from the 3-point line, the Knicks are 0-5. We've lost all the 5 times that's happened. We lost all the games.
That was a good setup, boy.
Yeah, perfect. I know. I was like, wait a second. Oh, the 19.
And we didn't talk about it, so that makes it even more like, woo!
This wasn't even planned, folks. This is the quality insight that you get from the syndicate.
Let's do the Fournier dance that Keith and I created. It's called Pepe Le Pew.
All right. And here, just to give you another frame of reference in terms of the 19 attempts, when he takes 19 field goal attempts or more in general, doesn't matter what he does with a 3-point shot, we're 3-7. 3-7.
Wow.
Yeah. So when he shoots, when he takes less than 19 field goal attempts, the Knicks are 12 and 11. So 18 or less, 12 and 11, which is about kind of where we would like to be, just a little bit above 500 right now. We're trying to get back to that.
That'll put us right in the thick of things.
Exactly.
Right.
With this competitive East this year, that's like what being 3 or 4 games over 500 last season was around this time. There is another number I'm trying to find here. Because the 18 shots. Anyway, we can come back. The point is, when he shoots too much, we lose. That's the bottom line. When he distributes the ball, we win. I mean, it's not like it's that magical a formula. But
it's not a Julius thing. Meaning when Kemba scored the 44, we lost because we didn't have the assist. There was one guy hogging the ball that night. So a lot of times when guys shoot like that, the ball's not moving around like Quis opened it up with him, talking about them 28 assists.
Yeah. Oh, here's this. Here's the other stat. Less than 19 field goal attempts for Julius, but more than 6 assists. The Knicks are 6 and 3. So when he has, or is it 6 assists or? Yeah. Yes, less than 19 field goal attempts, more than 6 assists. And he's had at least 9 games where he's had 7 assists or more. We're 6 and 3. So we don't need his shooting. We don't need clarification. We don't need his volume. Yeah. We don't need his volume shooting. That's what we don't need from him. Because we've seen it when he tries to go ISO, tries to press the issue. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Leads to turnovers. Leads to tragic turnovers. And the Knicks are the number 1 team in scoring with the dribble handoff.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a stat I was like stunned. When I was combing through the stats, I was looking, where are the Knicks? Where are the Knicks? Because I didn't look at the top one. And I look up New York, number 1. Like,
but you know what? We may be doing it than in a lot of other teams because guys like Mitch never looks at the basket. That's all he ever does is a dribble handoff. His back's to the basket, even though you're like, if you turn around, you have a really nice pick and pop from that area back there. And the same thing with Obi. Most of the time he does dribble handoffs because they're not facing the basket as a potential stretched threat.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. But I think also the actual production is coming from Fournier. That's who I can't even think who else do we see that does the dribble handoff consistently.
Yeah, I just think about Fournier whenever I see it. It's usually him and Randall. You see that a lot.
Yeah.
And their dribble handoff scared the hell out of me. Boy, they're not crisp as Keith corrected me the other night on the word.
No, they're not. A couple of those turnovers happened because of that. Or they just
lackadaisical.
On 3 consecutive possessions, you had a turnover, you had a bad shot, and then you had a turnover. Ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, let's just give people an update on the injuries and who's available to play. I have a little thing here. Oh, no, sorry. That's the wrong one. You know what it is? StreamYard, like it doesn't update the file. You have to delete it and bring it back in each time. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, we're always talking about the StreamYard gremlins, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, the StreamYard gremlins. You still use StreamYard, right, Keith?
Yeah, you use StreamYard.
Yeah. All right. So
if you see a delay, we're using StreamYard.
Hey, it works better than my Streamlabs. That's for sure on my computer. But apparently, even though Anthony Edwards has come off, he's been released from COVID protocols, he's most likely not going to play tonight. However, I'll wait till I see it because I know that guy likes to play against the Knicks and against RJ in specific. Even though last week I was like thinking, oh man, because we were talking about this, he loves to feast on RJ, but actually that wasn't even the case last season. RJ actually kind of feasted on him. He scored 21 and 23, and Ant scored 12 and 24. So there was no feasting, but RJ didn't hit that game winner at the end. That was the thing that really got in his craw. Here we go. So Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards, Shams tweeted out, has cleared health and safety protocols. Sources tell me Edwards is expected to have a ramp-up period prior to his return, so he's not going to be playing tonight. Same for Patrick Beverly and Tayshaun Prince, and Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid. I would like him.
I thought Bev was playing.
I thought Prince.
Bev and Naz
I thought Prince
were playing.
Yeah, I thought Prince was gonna be made it back into the lineup tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Who knows?
I agree with you, man.
This could change. This is just what's been tweeted out. This is the latest. Keith, you shared this with me, so I put this up here. D'Angelo Russell's out. Apparently, Towns is out. Vanderbilt is out. So we have no excuses. We have to win this game.
We have to win. This game.
We have to win it. It doesn't matter who they played against, but even tonight, it's even worse. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. We have 87. Awesome. Hit the thumbs up. So that would be greatly appreciated for sure. Shout out to Lex, the Destroyer. Thanks for joining us. Rick Pennington, Sincere to Genius. All right, we got the main dudes here. Jason M. Who else is here?
Shout out to Danny Landis. My boy, Danny Landis. And also Cully, folks. Cully's on the We Back on Christmas, J Boogie's track with featuring Cully and Papa Left. If you haven't heard it, check it out. So happy holidays, Cully, to you and your family.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays, Cully.
Yes.
Also, Jason M is saying it sounds like IQ may not play tonight. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he'll be a contributor for tonight's game.
I don't think he's not going to play. All right, let's get to it. So Kemba was voted Eastern Conference Player of the Week, which I find hilarious. I find this hilarious. This is a guy who lost his starting.
It's poetic.
It is poetic. It also shows that stats are really all that matters. I love how his team win-loss is 2-1. It's actually 2-2 since he's been back, but they're only counting that little sliver. But you know what? He gave us tremendous production. I love the assists, 8.3. We've needed that badly. His rebounding has really helped this team a lot. And 25 points per game he averaged. Fantastic. Now, the question at the top is the Kemba resurgence here to stay? I have a few things to say about this, but as the gracious host, I'm going to go last. I will go last. I will go last on this, and I will give the floor. I think last time we started with Quis, so this time we'll start with Stephen Fox.
Well, I think the key is what was the question again? I thought you were going to Keys.
You were right. So I threw you there. Is the Kemba resurgence here to stay?
Yeah,
that's the nice way to put this.
Yeah, I think the key part of it is that what you said, and we touched on this Sunday night, that the defense is still there. I think really the key to him is going to be Grimes. If we can disguise him on defense,
the defense issue.
The defense issue. So if we have Grimes next to him, we can disguise, because the defense is the same, folks. We're just it's a mirage now because he's putting up these great offensive numbers, but he's still the same guy that's a defensive liability. But if you put a Grimes next to him, we're able to disguise it. So, and just a couple other things. Kemba was running about 35 pick and rolls per 36 minutes in the games he played before his benching, and now he's doing about 46 pick and rolls in the last 4 games since returning. So what we were talking about, breaking down the defense, he's doing a lot of things differently. So that's why I think that's really positive. But the one thing that hasn't changed is his terrible defense. But one of the things that can nullify that and negate it is we have our guy Grimes in there to try to hide it and stop that penetration at the point of attack.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely. I mean, his defensive liability is there, and that's not going to change. Though he, even though during those first 19 games that he played, I saw attempts for him to take charges and things like that, but I feel like it tapered off after as those 19 games wore on. But recently we've seen him. He's trying to step in there and really take those charges, and that helps when you're not a strong defender. It helps to be able to at least do that part. That causes turnovers. Yep. Yeah. So Quis, what's your feeling in general about just, well, number one? Also, we'll come back to you, Foxy, also, because we didn't really talk about this part. How he's been forced back into this role of the starting point guard, whether he should have been benched at all, and whether this resurgence that we're seeing, because he's a totally different player these past 4 games than he was in the first 19 games that he played. Now, do you, Quis, and I'll just put the first question to you. Do you feel that this Kemba resurgence that we're seeing right now maybe not, 25 points a game, that'd be awesome. But I mean, you know what I'm talking about. His positive impact on the team itself, on that first unit. Do you feel this contribution is here to stay from Kemba?
I feel like it can be here to stay. It's just going to depend on how aggressive Kemba continues to be, and also minutes management. I don't know if he'll be able to play like this if we continue to play him 37 to 40 minutes a game. So those are some things that I'm keeping my eye on to see if he'll continue to play at this level. But I think if we're going to continue to run the offense through Kemba, he can definitely get you these type of numbers. Remember, Kemba's a former All-Star. I think our biggest issue with him when he was starting originally was his defense. And now that Tibbs is starting to play, players like Grimes, as Foxy mentioned, we can start tinkering with the lineups to try to hide Kemba on defense. But offensively, Kemba is still a player that I think still has a lot to offer a team. When he was benched, I said Kemba could still contribute to a playoff contending team. So do I think he'll play like this for the remaining portion of the season? It's going to depend on his health, going to depend on how aggressive he continues to be. If he's able to withstand if he's able to withstand the grind of an NBA season, then yeah, I think he can still ball out with the best of them. He can still knock down the three. He can still get into the paint. He's great off pick and rolls. He's got a good rapport with our bigs. We've seen him have highlight plays with both Mitch, Obi. So I think he can continue to play like this. Can he continue to average 9 rebounds? I think he's probably assisted by the fact that he's getting beat on the perimeter and he ends up in the paint looking for the rebound. So I think it can happen. He can continue to play like this.
All right, cool. What's got a little fire back there, Quis?
Yeah, cat is stuck in the tree.
I thought that was a hot take.
For a second.
It was such a hot take. The fire department had to come, man. Exactly. That's what you call a hot take.
Facts. I love that he's been averaging only 1 turnover per game.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. And the other positive.
Natural point guard. He should be taking care of the rock.
And Absolutely. A vet.
Facts. It's 7 assists, 1 turnover. That's a tremendous, beautiful 7-to-1 ratio. Whew. That's sexy. I don't
know if he'll be able to keep that up for an extended period of time, 7-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. But I think he'll still continue to be a solid impact player on the court for us.
Yeah, maybe not 7-to-1, but I think he can still give us a decent ratio. A pretty good, 3.5 and up to 1. 7 assists, 2 turnovers, like something like that. 9 assists, 3 turnovers one night. But I think that ratio is. I think that's something that could stay pretty high, and we need it because our turnovers. I feel like even though we're not that terrible turnovers wise, I feel like they kill us so much. They kill our momentum so often.
Mm-hmm. Because sometimes they come in bunches, and it's the timing of the turnovers.
Yep.
Yes. And I feel like they cluster too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Getting back to our Kemba with Tibbs, we have a game tomorrow. You think because of everything, minutes management's out the door at this point?
I think he's gonna play.
I know, but it may have ramifications later in the season.
Yeah,
when he has nothing left in the tank, putting up 40 minutes.
Well, we'll see if Deuce is available because he cleared protocol, so hopefully he'll be able to play tomorrow.
Give us our boy Deuce, Lord, please.
Man.
We've been waiting for Deuce.
Yeah. All right, I'm here's my take about the Kemba resurgence. I'm annoyed as F about it. I'm like, where was this in the first 19 games? They're actually, we all know, we all watch this team, religiously. We love it. Everyone in the chat, this is our team, our baby. I don't see any reason why the Kemba we're seeing now couldn't have been there in those first 19 games. Other barring an injury or barring the shape of the offense was the same. It's the same starting 5 players that he's playing with now. The ball was in his hands. Yes, was the ball often in Julius's hands as well? Yes, it was. But it was also in Kemba's hands. In fact, it was in Kemba's hands just as much in those first 19 games as it was in the last 4 games. Now, is his aggression level, double what it was? Yes. Is he penetrating more now? Yes. Was he saving himself in those first 19 games? And if he was, he cost this team. He might have cost this team a high playoff seed. And that pisses me off. I'm going to be frank with you guys. I love Kemba. I wanted him to thrive. I wanted this guy that he's doing, because I knew he could do this. We all knew. But the player that he was, what is with this?
This is a test of the emergency broadcast.
Kemba hacked the system. I know. He said, no, we can't allow this slander to go on much longer.
Free George, free George, free George. Hey, to just on the point, our guy Lex the Destroyer said, and I think he captured it nicely, Lex, as usually, Kemba was timid when he first got here. Benching was much needed. He came back aggressive, the Kemba we needed from the jump. So he was a touch timid so Lex, good insight as usual, my friend.
Yes. Oh yeah,
you can understand him being a little bit timid for the first few games. He's new,
respectful
in the locker room. Yeah, exactly. But after a while, especially when things are saying we don't have time to wait, 10 games can't turn into 20, 30, 40. Boom. That's when he should have kicked it into high gear.
Boom.
But he saw his career in front of him, and he said, all right, if I want to be in the NBA, I'm gonna have to ball out. And he's playing like a man that really doesn't have any other options. It's either showcase your talent game in and game out, or be in the doldrums and be like Isaiah Thomas, continuing to beg for a job in the NBA.
Yeah.
You nailed it right there. Yeah.
But he's a Bronx boy. I'm not going to lose face. The guy showed me up in public. I'm a Bronx boy. I'm going to come back tough. And he did.
Yeah. And it took like a confluence of craziness for it to happen. We got hit with COVID. D Rose, unfortunately, sadly, ankle surgery, and our actual backup point guards were not available. So then Thibs had to turn to Kemba, but to give Kemba 100% credit, he seized that opportunity this time. You referenced that other time at that 10-game mark. Remember, guys, it was at that 10-game mark where Thibs was at that press conference and he said, well, everyone, how much longer are we going to wait? 10 more games is 20, 20 more games is 30, and then season's over. So Kemba, Thibs sounded the alarm. Says, guys, get it together. I'm only giving this unit 10 more minutes, 10 more games. And Kemba didn't step up. So he sat, he handled it pretty well. And now he got his opportunity. So I hope that's now. Here's the other thing: if he was trying to save himself, and someone asks the question, "What do you mean by saving himself?" He has a degenerative knee disease. Oh. Yeah, and Keith, you can explain it better if you want.
He's got an arthritic knee. I don't know what stage he's in, but over time, he's going to lose the space cartilage in between. Yeah, the cartilage in between.
So it's
the
bone
knee
on
and
bone.
The femur. Yep, and it's going to deteriorate more and more.
Right. And he took a stem cell injection a year ago, before the beginning of last season, And it did screw him up a little bit because I think, it was at the end of the bubble season, right? Then I think he thought there was more time going to be between the end of the bubble season and the beginning of the COVID shortened season. I think he thought there was going to be more time for him to rehab, and there wasn't. So he had to like really baby those knees. He couldn't play back-to-backs, and it impacted his productivity. And then when he came, I think that was still lingering in his head when he started with the Knicks, and he didn't drive to the hoop as with the determination that we're seeing now. He didn't break down defenses, which is the reason we got him on this team. That was the reason. That's what we needed him to do. So if that was the case, then maybe things had to play out the way they played out, and to actually have Kemba unlock himself. And Thibs did the right thing by benching him, because he had already warned them. And then and remember, he didn't play that game. He wasn't it was the Phoenix game. He chose not to play that game. He sat himself out. And then he was going to play the next night, supposedly, but with Atlanta. But that was the game then. That was the game that wait, what happened exactly there? I can't remember now. I forgot. That was the game that Derrick Rose got hurt, and then he couldn't play. And I think that's why. And then Thibs just said we're going to go with Burke starting. Yes, because there was a game when both Kemba and D Rose couldn't play. It was the second of the back-to-back. It was that Atlanta.
I think that was the Cavs game, no?
Was it that one?
Where Rose got lit up by Rubio?
Oh, that was earlier. That was earlier.
Oh, was earlier? Okay.
Yeah, that was earlier. That was during that.
That was the week before, I think.
Yeah, it was the week before. That was during that bad stretch. Yeah, that was during those 9 games after the warning that Thibs gave, and then the actual final benching. So there's a lot of factors. I mean, who knows? Maybe, maybe all along they were planning on handing the keys to IQ as the starting point guard, or Deuce as the starting point guard, and COVID came in and screwed that up, because even though D Rose did start for a stretch, we knew he wasn't going to stay as the starter, unfortunately. So at the end of the day, I am hoping, obviously, that this resurgence is here to stay. However, I am more in the doubtful realm of the spectrum. I have a feeling that as the games tick by and the minutes rack up, that his productivity
and the real players are back in lineups.
And the real players, right? The real opponents. Yeah.
Real elite NBA players, and not G League guys that are 60, 70 years old coming back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because also remember, this productivity that we're seeing right here that Kemba gave us, that we're 2-2, and the 2 wins, one of them came against Detroit without Grant, who is technically their best player, and the other one came against the Hawks, which is without Trae Young, their best player, clearly their best player. So it's. But
we also lost to Washington without a Bradley Beal.
Yep. Yes, exactly. So we need to temper our enthusiasm about this. And in a way, this player of the week thing is just a total, I don't know. I feel like it's a huge distraction from what the real issues were. This team is not fixed yet. Tonight will be a good test.
We'll find out. Yep.
Yeah.
But I think with Kemba as the focal point of the offense, or taking a larger load of the offense, it gives us a nice little blueprint. Can we see Kemba when he's playing at his best? We can then see how Julius Randle operates on the court with a player like Kemba. We've always said we want to make a big deal for a point guard to come in, but we've never really seen Julius Randle play with an elite point guard throughout his career. So it's going to be an adjustment process for him, adjustment process for whoever comes in. And right now, with Kemba balling at that point guard position and the offense flowing through him, I'm liking some of what I'm seeing Julius do, especially in the game against the Hawks. So I look at this more so as a blueprint, us trying to establish a blueprint to see how we can get Julius Randle going without everything flowing through him and him have to be stuck in isolation. Because I think throughout his career, we really haven't seen him operate, in that manner.
Yeah, and also I think you touched the key word, blueprint. Maybe a blueprint for Deuce on the bench, watching this guy, seeing how he's breaking down defenses. Those little things sticking in his head. When I get in there, I got to mimic what Kemba's doing to put Julius and RJ and other guys in their spots. So let him mimic all the good stuff he's seeing.
Yeah, because we saw dudes doing similar with similar production. He had 15 and 9 before he went down with COVID. So I don't think it's Kemba specific. I think it's a style of play. And with Kemba and the offense running through the point guard, we can then take that style of play. If Kemba doesn't, continue to have this, high level of output, swap out another point guard, like let's say Deuce, and still hit the ground running and still have this thing, running on all cylinders.
Yeah. Just to even pick up on that word blueprint, like you said, actually, I think you texted me this earlier today, which was the blueprint is we get to see an offense when it's not primarily in Julius's hands, when it's in another player's hands, and how much better we can be. And that is good. That's something exactly like Deuce can learn from that. IQ or whoever ends up or Kemba, just continue this production level. I'm not saying I'm rooting against Kemba at all.
You're just keeping it real.
Quite the opposite. I'm quite the opposite. I'm rooting for him, but I'm also not going to be oblivious to. We saw 19 games of Kemba before, and it was terrible. It wasn't just him, of course, but the team, the way the team played was terrible. I mean, we drastically underachieve with the quality that we have on this team. Now, which brings me back to the main question, which I'm going to keep saying this until it finally happens. Leon Rose, we, the fan base, need to hear from you. You have not spoken in, I don't even know how many months. I think since the Kemba signing. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we don't know what your plans are in any shape, way, or form. I think the Kemba signing came out of nowhere. In reality, when you think about it, we didn't have a starting point guard. So what was the plan all along? We don't know because you don't talk. Please have an interview with somebody. I don't care who it's with, but the fan base needs to hear your vision for this team. Right now, all we hear is Thibs' vision, and we understand his situation. He's the coach. He's directly with the players. He's got to motivate, but at the same time, he's got to, still lead them. He's in a tight spot, and he can only play the players that you give him. So we need to hear from you. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm going to keep hitting on that until it finally happens, because this moving forward in the darkness like we have the trading deadline coming up in February.
Yeah, but February is the third year of the front office, Rose. So the honeymoon's over, man. He's here 3 years in February. So you're right, man. If we don't know the vision and all of us are like saying, I'm not really sure we're, the foundational pieces where we're going and the things that we're missing. We have a 2-year plan at point guard between Rose and Kemba. Is the Deuce the guy? And, if so, play him. And the other parts of we've been talking about having a 6'8", 6'9", Mikal Bridges type of 3 to shut down people. And we keep getting people 6'4" and less.
Yeah. All right. So that's my feeling about the Kemba resurgence. And thank you guys for sharing yours. Sometimes we got to go a little harder on these guys because that's the players we've got. That's all we can comment on. Now let's look at the upcoming match. It's not going to have Karl Anthony Towns, but I couldn't bring myself to put somebody else in there.
He'll be there in spirit.
He will be there in spirit. And plus, I love the whole thing with him and Thibs, the whole dynamic. And there's a lot of drama with this team in the Knicks for some reason.
Drama with everything. Made a comment about Russ's stats that a lot of guys in the league didn't like.
Oh, yeah? What was that? I missed that.
The Cat made a comment that, Russ, he's, everything he does is about his stats rather than being about winning. And Draymond and a few guys said, yo, man, you're out of line for making that comment.
Wow.
They called him a stat stuff.
Yep.
A stat what?
A stat stuff.
Yeah, or in Russ's case, a stat queen.
All right. Well, well, here's the last 10 games, not between the Knicks and the Wolves, but in general, the last 10 games. The Knicks are 4-6 in the last 10, scored 104.9 points per game, allowed 105.7, differential of a minus 0.8, which is the gap is closed. Over like about 4 or 5 games ago, it was pretty wide. It was like a minus 4, something like that. 44.3 rebounds, are averaging 21.2 assists, which is still low, despite the beautiful 28 assists that they had against the Hawks on Christmas Day. Field goal percentage is 43.4%. You can see the Timberwolves are, similar field goal percentage, though they do have more assists. Rebounds are about the same. They score a lot more, but they give up a lot more points as well. And Cat won't be playing, and Anthony Edwards won't be playing, and D'Angelo Russell won't be playing. So we should feast today.
We just don't want to.
Players. They got Greg Monroe coming in.
He's out. Did you hear that? He's out.
He's
out, bro.
He's out because of COVID already. So he played one game and now he's out. I know, the poor guy finally makes it back to the dance, and one game he's out.
Are they putting COVID? Are they putting
too, right?
Yeah, he had a pretty nice game. Well, considering who he's playing, but getting back to what you were saying, we just don't want to add Jalen Noel to the list of no names that are going to be killing us this past year. So we had a big game yesterday, and
and they played yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the second of the back-to-back for them.
And Nathan Knight also had a big game at center for them. So the kid out of William and Mary, and that Noel is a second-round pick, 43rd pick out of Washington 2 years ago, a shooting guard.
Absolutely.
We need to punch him in the mouth early and make sure this is a game that's not in question in the second half. I want a nice, comfortable lead. I don't want to hear any questions, nothing.
Yeah.
They got Patrick Beverly and Naj Reid. That's no.
You had me at punch in the mouth. You had me right there.
Hit him hard, hit him early.
Hit him hard, hit him low, and if they get up, hit him again. That's what I say.
Yeah. The worst thing is let them linger around, and it's like we're only up by like 11 or 12.
Take away their hope.
And then suddenly it's a 2-point game.
Yep. That's how we lost the Magic game, and then Terrence Ross went off, and it's crazy.
Yeah, so we don't want Beasley doing that because he has a Terrence Ross type of going off type of style.
Beasley can feast.
Yeah, he can. That's why I just said it, man. That guy could turn it up. Yeah. He's a Florida State dog, man.
Alan Pena. Yes. Are we buyers, sellers, or staying pat? Those are the questions that we need to know.
We had an idea what this front office does.
Pat. That's for sure. We better not be staying pat. We've got a lot of players that could be moved and not re-signed, like Mitch, Knox.
Noel, get rid of Noel. Please get rid of Noel.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Terrible contract.
Yeah, Noel's been a disappointment for sure.
One-dimensional. Shot blocker, and that's it.
I got to say, the thing I'm most shocked about is the drop in defense from Julius and RJ. I'm shocked by it in reality. I mean, we knew Fournier wasn't a good defender. We knew he's neutral. What he gives you on offense, he kind of gives it away on defense. But on offense, he helps space the floor well, and he can drive a little bit. He can finish at the hoop. That's something we never got from Reggie Bullock. So that was an upgrade in that respect offensively. But Kemba, he's a 6-foot point guard. He's limited defensively, so we couldn't afford a drop off from Julius and RJ, and we got that. That's been a big disappointment for me. Let's see here. Shout out to the chat. Bodega Wi-Fi. What's happening, man?
That's my guy, man. Bodega Wi-Fi. I love my Bodega, man. Always great insight too.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah,
Rick, I see your question. We'll definitely put it on the itinerary for Sunday.
We need to do deep dive into RJ and his future with us. Is he a true 3 pick?
Yeah, we touched on that.
With the way Garland's been balling, that's a hot topic right now with the New York Knicks.
Yeah,
we're still point guard needy, and you've got Darius Garland balling out there for the Cavs. And we're still trying to figure it out with RJ. So it's definitely a topic that needs to be discussed. So we'll bring it up.
Yeah, but if we had an Evan Fournier, an Evan Mobley, and a Jared Allen, that would help our point guards look pretty happening too.
I mean, we got a Julius Randle and a Mitchell Robinson. Those are two bigs that I think are high quality bigs in this league. If with Darius Garland, I think we'd be cooking with gas. No, him at point guard.
Yeah, but Mitch is cluttering up the paint, and those other guys can stretch it a little more, especially Mobley.
True.
Yeah,
that's true. But I still think if you had a point guard like Garland working,
tell me about it. I loved him
with Julius Randle. We'd be in a great spot right now.
Yeah, if he didn't have the abbreviated college career because of the injury at Vanderbilt, he could have very well been the third pick, folks. It was just a real small sample, but you knew that he was going to be a tough person to cover in this league. The only issue is a little injury prone in college. We had the injury in his first couple of years. He looked to get a little banged up, but you knew that the talent was there. And unfortunately, the minute, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, the minute Sexton wasn't there, his game got better. The whole team got better without Sexton.
I called that. I tweeted it out. I said the second Sexton went on the stable list, I said now the Cavs are going to start winning. And boom, like almost exactly that day it started happening. He's a minus player. That's why I didn't want him on this team at all. Especially kind of ball hoggy, and then you have that with Randall. Can you imagine Sexton with Randall?
Mm-hmm.
But Sexton has that one little thing that this team needs badly. He has speed.
He has speed.
Desperate.
He does have
and
speed.
Also, if you saw him last year against the Nets, he's a dog, man. He took on the Nets and he beat them, Cleveland. So there was a certain. But you got to have a certain personality
because he's not playing. I mean, he has talent.
He's 20th. He's 20th. He's a top 20 scorer. He's only 22 years old. He's younger than Davion Mitchell, who was a first-round draft choice this year.
Yeah. Yep. But we'll see where he ends up because I'm probably not going to stay in Cleveland. I would imagine now they realize they don't need him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Muhammad says, what will it take for you to forgive Kemba?
It was not Kemba, it was Tibbs.
Yeah, it's a great question. In terms of what I think he's referring to, me being annoyed about his,
mad at him.
Yeah, the first 19 games, the way he approached it. You know what? If he just continues the aggressive play that we're seeing now and minimizing the turnovers, I think I'll be ecstatic. That's the dream. That's the point guard we wanted all along. I mean, I think this team can do some damage if we continue with this type of level of production. Obviously, it's not going to stay at the 25 point, but let's say Kemba has averaged 20 points a game in many seasons. So if he and the ball's in his hands, he should be able to average 20 points a game.
I think the key thing, and we touched on this on Sunday night, and especially Quis, is that for us to get the right Julius, the Julius that was second team All NBA, is taking away. Let Kemba or our point guard be the primary ball handler. Let him be the secondary. Randall. He'll get his 5 or so assists, but take some of that burden off of him. Let him just concentrate on getting to his spots rather than dribbling to his spots. So that's really, really key that going forward, take the ball out of Julius's hands as the primary distributor.
100% echo that. 100%. All right, let's go to the next slide here.
So we're going to be wrapping it up soon.
Yep, we're going to wrap it up soon. We got so this
it's
is
so weird to look at these because we're not facing these teams anymore.
I know it's been going on now for a week or so, a couple weeks now. Yeah, but you can still see our assists per game at 21.5 really hasn't increased in the past 10 games over the.
I feel like it's going to be going down, right? What is it? It was at 22 at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Hey, George, real quick. We have 101 people in the chat. We have about 56 likes. So do me a favor, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe. And please hit that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the great content. And while you're doing it, do me a favor, please subscribe to Sports Vibe TV. So it's a double winner, man. It's a win-win for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'd appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. And subscribe to Sports Vibes TV as well. Absolutely.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. Just echoing that. So here we go. Fast break points, Knicks 10.4, Minnesota 14. So they get out there. But again, like you said, this is not the team we're facing. So that's why these stats are almost irrelevant sometimes.
Yeah.
At least for now.
It's just there for the visual.
Exactly. Same with this.
I know
not
it's
playing. D'Angelo Russell not playing. The last 5 games we're both 2-3. Oh no, we're 3-2. They're 2-3. They did beat the Celtics last night. Isn't that crazy? They beat the Celtics last night.
They didn't have Tatum, but they did have Jaylen Brown. They, didn't have Marcus Smart, but still, I agree with you. So we don't want to go the route of Celtics yesterday. This is the second game in a row. We got to win this game, folks. We got to get. We have any thoughts about being a playoff team? We got to run off 4 this week. 3-1 or 4-0 and there can't be a 2-2 week.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, this has been a great pregame. We got into a lot of good subjects. This thanks to Buzzer Beater here. RJ has played 3 different positions with 3 different coaches for his first 3 years. Give the man some slack. I don't know, what was the third? I'm not sure what the third position.
Point guard. He basically started his first game he ever started for the Knicks as a point guard.
That's true with Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
I blocked Fizdale out.
My
therapist highly recommended I forget that Fizdale was our coach.
Better for your mental health.
Yeah,
he's over there stinking up the joint in LA too.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think I tweeted this to you guys or texted this to you guys earlier, but RJ last year around the 32 game mark. Do you remember this, Foxy? I sent this to you earlier today. Where was this thing? Yeah, RJ. Oh, I can't find it now. Anyway, yeah, give him time. He proved last season that he can wake up and become the player that we need him to be. So, but time is up. We need him now.
Yeah, and we can't. This can't be a trend. Every season can't start. 20, 30 games in. We're waiting for RJ to turn the lights on.
Absolutely. Out in your third year, man. Consistency, man.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. So, but to kind of answer this thing, I do think that he will return to that player. That's my hedge. If I was to put money on that, that's what I would hedge. Now, whether that will be whether he levels up beyond what he gave us last season, I think he can, but he hasn't shown us that yet, so we'll see. That's still TBD, man. Major TBD. And it's a bummer because we do need him. I want him to be the second best player on this team.
Thanks.
So we'll see.
Actually, I want him to be the first best player on this team.
Oh, yeah.
But it's up to him to take that role.
Yeah.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, yeah. It would solve so many problems for us as the Knicks. Absolutely.
I mean, do we see him being a number one, though, from what we've seen so far?
That's a topic for next Sunday show, folks, at 8 p.m. on Sports Vibe TV. Where's the place to
be? Yeah. I have a lot of feelings about it, but we'll leave it for another show. We'll leave that for another show. I do think that all the RJ haters and the slanderers, they're going to have to eat a lot of crow at some point. He's already made you guys eat crow, and then he starts off slow again and you guys jump on him again. But he'll be back.
Somebody in chat throwing crow at us earlier in the show. They got to tape it down a little bit, though.
Yeah. All right, well, we got to win tonight. No ifs, ands, or buts. I want to be doing a joyful recap, and I hope it's along the same kind of lines of the type of style of play that we saw against the Hawks. That's, also it matters how we play, how we win. it matters to us right now, because we need to see if this is something that is scalable. They can repeat this, because we need to win the next. I'd like to win the next 3, and then we'll see about the Toronto game. But be sweet to win the next 4, so we can put a nice 5-game win streak together. We haven't had that in forever. Forever.
Makes us believe.
Yeah. I'm with you, Alan. All right, guys. I want to say goodbye to anybody specific? Shout outs.
Salute to the chat. Mr.
Salute to the
Durante, still DRE. D Nice. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Also, Bodega Wi-Fi had a pretty interesting comment about Randall's obsession with the refs.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys didn't see my Randall rant, I go deep in on that. Deep in on that. What game was that one that I did that rant on?
Every game.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Anudi25, shout out to you. Hope you had a nice holiday with your family.
Salute to my guy Anudi.
D Nice too, also great dude.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we got a great group of chat. I mean, the Knicks fans are awesome, man. You guys deserve.
We're blessed.
You deserve a championship team at some point within the next 3 years. I want to put a pennant behind me the next 3 years.
Or a pin in it. If they don't.
I want to put a photo of us celebrating a championship.
Pin.
Yeah. I know. We'll get our own float. We'll go down during the parade of champions. We'll be like, yay. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, we just need Jay Boogie and we're fine.
Yeah, we'll do that, man. We'll get Jay Boogie rap in there. Be awesome. That'd be fun, man. It'd be a fun party. All right, we're thinking about the party. We gotta get the team together. We gotta get that together, man. Jeez. All right, man. We got 69 in the chat. Awesome. Lex, thank you so much, Lex, for joining us here, man, and always holding it down. Great moderator. Yes, smash that like button on your way out, and let's go Knicks. Knicks are gonna win tonight, guys. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.